One little common sense axiom is that silver will outlast big tech and survive big tech's downfall by millennium. The looking at the charts today at the on October 24th, 2019, you can see things have been going up. I know it's been a cycle up, down, but one of the things I've been observing for the last couple of years is the action of palladium. Palladium has done extremely well, while the other metals have not been rising that much. Well, you can also say that gold has done well. Gold has done well in comparison to other currencies, not that well compared to the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. dollar has been strong. But looking at what's been going on recently and some of with the talk about they're injecting a lot of money into the system to keep the banks afloat and the money markets because basically the Fed is already doing QE. And I don't know how long this is going to last. I mean, I think if Trump wins the election, he's going to inherit an economy that's going to implode under his very feet. But for right now, things look great, and there's a rosy picture. So, but as far as like where I think silver is heading, I'll just cut right to the chase. The gains that we saw in palladium, I think will be the same kind of gains we see in silver. That is why I'm saying that is because the last time this happened, palladium actually took off first. And I think it hit 850 from about under 200. And then silver went up and it went from like, $17 to like 47, 48, $48. But this time, palladium has actually gone to $1,700, which means that silver should go to around 100 or even be past 100. That's going to be a psychological barrier. That's going to be a tough one to break, but it might actually go through there. So things do look very good for the metals. What I'm saying this is because it's where well, obviously the debt situation is ridiculous. It's ready to implode. I don't understand even how the United States can keep on borrowing the way it is. The U.S. government has to be buying its own debt somehow just to shore things up. And also, when the last time when we had the crash in 2008, 2009, the Fed bought the bank's troubled assets at face value, and they're on the Fed's balance sheet. So the Fed has all this stuff still on the balance sheet that is not worth what it really is there on paper. That's a typical problem. You can have, you're really supposed to put, cost or market, whichever is higher. But sometimes you can adjust down. But I know the Fed is not going to do that. They're not going to adjust down what really is on their balance sheet. So we can see what they're doing, though, is they're injecting more and more money into the economy all the time. It's almost as if we have an overgrown economy that is not. In other words, if you're injecting a lot of money into a lean and muscular athlete, that's one thing. But if you're an overweight economy, heavily based on service-based retail sector and things that are, associated with the government, like you look at all the social services, that's a big section of the economy in some of the major cities. It's not. You can inject a lot of more money into the economy, even if you had the GDP going up in these areas. It's not a healthy economy. Whereby, if you had a healthy economy, it would be manufacturing of goods that people really need to survive on a daily basis in food. But injecting too much money into the economy when you have a retail and social services based economy largely, it's not doing us much good. Besides, it's also going to do bigs to fail. And they're always selling us a bill of goods. It's like, free kitten. You want a free kitten? They're always going to fix something right away. They're always telling you that they're going to keep things going. I doubt it. And I think, the metals prices, I think now, even though that's an electronic market and it's rigged to bring the prices down, one of the things I looked at was platinum. Platinum should have been going along around the same price as palladium. Platinum should catch up to palladium. It really should, especially with all the problems they're having down in South Africa. It should really catch up to palladium in a big way. And it's just common sense. I mean, palladium and platinum have a lot of uses that are similar. So usually they run together fairly tight. And usually platinum, on average, runs about 1.4 times the price of gold. And when it does well, it runs twice the price of gold. So if gold's going to go up to $3,000-$4,000 an ounce, platinum should go up to like, $6,000 to $8,000 an ounce when it hits its high. Thing is, it's going to be an erratic ride. So, You never know what's going to happen because I know even though the elite are in control of things, the elite always start at someplace. You even look at the tech giants. This is this is Duke Albert Edward. Actually, this is my guess he'd be my great great grandfather, right? No, third great grandfather. Excuse me, third great grandfather. Yeah. So I got some of that in me too, but that doesn't mean nothing actually from the financial angle. But I probably have some of the insight from them. But when you're looking at things happening, um, people are pretty much chill to a lot of things that are going on, unless you're freaking got your nose in the media and you have your nose in the TV, which I don't. I even very rarely watch a lot of political stuff on YouTube or anything. I don't even care about that stuff. Usually I'll watch medical things and things like that, if I even watch anything. But most people are not really, uh, you know, wrapped around the axle as much as they say in the media. But they think that you're going to be when the economy tanks. Because if you want to change the emotional world of people real fast, it's when the economy tanks. That's when things really become a problem. And, the way society is today, it's such a fluff world that if the economy tanked, we talk about silver, gold, and things, but I'll tell you what, if you're a farmer and you got a producing farm, and you have chickens and goats and whatever, cows and crops and everything, and you got a well and you got solar power and windmill power or whatever, you're going to be you're going to be the gold mine itself because people aren't going to be worried so much about silver. That they're going to be worried about is food, clothing, and shelter. Today they're worried about dressing up like this, and imagine if you will living in a world where an angry purple-haired woman dressed as vaginas lecture everybody on human dignity. This is something you would never believe would have happened, and this is why I say the whole thing's going to unravel. It's definitely going to unravel. Even these tech giants. I'm on a platform of a tech giant. Talking about this, and it's also I'm on BitChute, so this video will be on BitChute also. But even the tech giants who think they are so high and mighty, I look at them. I look at Larry Page. He's born in 1973, same year I graduated from my preparatory high school with top honors. So I got a few years on him, and I have. It's not just that I'm older than him. I have many years of more educational experience than him. And I'm looking at these people. I'm like saying, these people are dictating to me what I have to say, what I can and cannot say on a platform that's supposed to be free and open. Get out of here. You guys are going to sink. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you find one little thing wrong with this video, I hope not, but anyway. But I don't care. Everything goes on BitChute. Everything goes on BitChute. But really what's going on in the United States now, they're hitching a ride. The current generation is hitching a ride off of what the past generations have accomplished. It used to be that the boomers looked really bad compared to what you would call the World War II Depression age traditional generation. Well, the generations past the boomers have actually gotten success worse, but no, not all of them have. I'm a boomer, but I definitely would fall in an attitude that is not a boomer attitude. In other words, I wasn't part of the hippie movement and all that kind of garbage like that. So, very traditional, very traditional. And you have that in millennials too. You got some millennials that are very traditional. But as each generation's going on, there's less and less of that in each generation. And that's where the current crowd, it's the vibrant crowd that could be making America go or not go, they're basically they're hitching a ride off of the coattails of people that preceded them. And this is not good. Basically, they're on a ride that's not going to last for long, and they're kind of kicking back. And it was criticized of that. The boomers were heavily criticized for that, especially when you look at the hippie movement and all that kind of garbage like that. But I'll tell you the truth, most of the boomers weren't into that stuff. Most of them weren't. They make it look like that way, but the vast majority, the news media overplayed a small section. Most of the boomers were not involved in that kind of garbage. But there was a lot less traditional-minded people in the boomer generation than in the generation prior to that. But each succeeding generation has less traditional-minded people. And this does factor into the work ethic and how things are going to go in the economy. Because not having that honest, hard-working work ethic, if you want to call it that, where people are just going to persevere and keep moving despite, maybe they don't like their pay, they don't like this or whatever, and they just keep going and they keep going. Well, that's called the work ethic. Now, today, people are always looking for a quick buck, quick opportunity, and they don't want to stay in there for the long haul. And that's where things start sinking. Now, if you look at today, this is October 24th. It's interesting that Twitter took a 21% nosedive today, which I'm thinking good. I don't use Twitter. I'm not into any of this. The only thing I use is YouTube. That's it. I don't use anything else. But big tech to me is like become an avenue of censorship. So this is why I look at this stuff. To me, Twitter is a bunch of fluff. I mean, I don't really understand what the hell you would even bother with that for in the first place. I could see, some of the other video sharing platforms, because you can get a lot more through with ideas and how to do things with a video than you could sometimes with the written word. But, it ain't the be-all, end-all of everything, and that's the way I look at it. There's other things out there. But as far as like what the elite think, this is funny to me. People, if you're in Wall Street and stuff and you see the numbers tank, the last thing they'll do is go turn to Jesus. The last thing I would do is turn to Jesus too, because I basically do think like them all the way. That's why I understand how they think. As a matter of fact, when I put out these Confederate videos and I see what Abe Lincoln did, I could see why he did that, because that was kind of like my position. You got to please the guy that's shoveling the money at you. So, I mean, I understand this stuff better than I think a lot of other people do. But, when the big tech tanks, it's going to be, it's going to be the end. It's going to be the end of them. I think they are going to be tanking here pretty soon. But as far as, them turning to Jesus for looking for, I wouldn't do this either, but I'm in agreement with them there. But as far as them turning to Jesus, that everything's going to get fixed because I prayed to Jesus, and my stock in Twitter is going to go back up again. Now Google stock is doing good, but I don't think it's going to last too either. Alphabet, Inc., the whole 9 yards. It's under the freaking crosshairs right now. So, but as far as what lasts more than any of this stuff? These things are just fads. Even these things with some of the durable hard goods. That's the one thing you could say about some of the precious metals. The precious metals, because they withstood the test of time. Now, I know the newcomers on the block are basically palladium and platinum, but still, they've shown that they're not just industrial. They're a lot more. They have an investment use, and I'm not sure exactly why palladium is going up so much. And what I'm thinking is that because there's a lot more underlying tensions with Russia than people think, because 43% of the palladium in the world comes from Russia. So, I mean, I don't know where it's going. I always thought it's going to go to $5,000 or $10,000 an ounce, but that's just me. I mean, I don't think it's going to go that far. Sometimes in my mind, I keep thinking that. I know I'd sell before that if I actually had some, But the thing is, palladium. You look at this thing, the way it took off. This is a prelude to what's going to happen with silver and gold. I mean, I think I don't know where palladium's going to go exactly. I mean, it could go way the hell up. I mean, it could have it'll have a major pullback if the the markets tank, the regular equities tank, not just the tech sector, but in general. But actually, the tech sector is a large part of the market. So if the tech sector sinks, that'll be the whole market still. Palladium will go down too, because palladium's like over 90% industrial. But as far as the other metals, I think they're going to catch up to the percentage increase that palladium did. So in other words, if palladium went up 8 times, like silver should go up 8 times. I mean, silver should be $135 an ounce or something. It really should be. But with silver, like I said, I'm probably going to put the thing for Sam Zell's words of financial wisdom at the end of this video, because these things are very, very risky. Gold is less risky than all of them. The other, palladium and platinum are all over the freaking place. Silver's all over the place, but palladium and platinum even make silver look less risky by a lot. So, if you make a lot of money, I mean, I'm not going to tell you when to sell, but if you make a lot of money, you shouldn't be too afraid to part with something. Just be careful what your next move is, what you're going to buy, what you're going to buy. And if we're going into a dire situation where things actually change a lot, um, well, in that situation, I mean, in other words, when there's people, the food is overpriced or something because of inflation, cost of energy is way the hell up there. In other words, you got rampant inflation where people really, in the hard, durable goods like in energy and food that people need, there's rampant inflation in those areas where it hits the poor the most. Well, silver's not going to do you that much good there on a barter basis. I don't buy into that stuff. What you're going to be bartering is probably food, probably number one. But as far as what you can get for it, if you're doing an exchange at a bullion dealer, you're going to get a lot more dollars. But the thing is, those dollars are going to be well needed because we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem. I never liked this. I mean, Trump, he's okay, and actually he's doing a lot more stuff than I thought. But I never liked that slogan to make America great again or keeping America great. I mean, I finally just bought a Trump hat that says keeping America great, whatever it is. But I don't think he's been able to do it. I think it's like too far gone. We're a debtor nation right now. And it'd been better. I guess it's a good appeal to the people. Like if I tell you like silver's going to the moon or something. But I think it is actually going up a lot more than people will ever expect. It is. Palladium actually has been leading that charge. I was talking about this palladium years ago, and people freaking poo-pooing me. But I think those are the type of percentage gains you're going to see with silver, with the same kind of percentage gains you saw with palladium. So, in other words, it's a prelude to what's going to happen. As far as what's going to happen in the economy in general, it's terrible. It's terrible. You got to go. Really, the way the economy changes is you got to go back to the old work ethic. There's not too many people that have that anymore. I do. Right now, I'm doing this stuff on YouTube for nothing because there's like no AdSense or nothing like that. There might be some ads. I might go with AdRev or some crap or something, some other thing out there pretty soon. But I can do that because I'm financially secure, unlike other people that are on YouTube. But I look at these people that run these alphabet agencies and stuff. What are the Alphabet Inc. The Google, like Larry Page and Sergey, the Russian guy, and I don't know, Susan on YouTube. She was part of Google, and they're young people, man. They're young people, and I'm like, they don't know everything. They definitely don't. I mean, they're so freaking attuned to the tech sector. This is where I found, I was valuable. People found me very valuable in accounting because, not a CPA, but man, I freaking destroyed CPAs. Pretty good with, well, I guess the accounting systems, mining information or setting up special reports. But the fact that I can do a lot of the different things like MacGyver did, DIY projects, repairing cars, doing roofing, whatever, fixing this, fixing that. A lot of that common sense knowledge applies very much to the accounting field. And I can tell you one thing about big tech, and actually I was fairly involved in some of that stuff when it was not big tech, but I was on the cutting, like in other words, I was the tech guy and the accounting guy at the same time. In places that were large companies that were like, many tens of millions of dollars of revenue that were operated by one guy. But so in other words, they'd have a lean workforce in the office, and I was a kingpin, tech and accounting. But what I'm going to say is that if I'm looking at like what Susan's doing, Larry Page, and all that type of stuff with their slant on, I know probably it isn't them really. It's the advertisers doing this stuff. Well, the advertisers, even though they're paying a platform, they're going to kill a platform. They're going to kill this platform. This platform's going to freaking sink. It's like I said, Susan's been resisting this stuff. She has been. But, I don't know what to tell her, man. I tell you, I wish I was in a position where I could have a little more say in, not my say as a YouTuber, but actually in the company. Because I tell these advertisers, you know what? You're gonna kill this freaking golden egg that's laying this goose that's laying those golden eggs. You're gonna kill this, and then you're gonna be back to advertising on cable TV, which I will not watch. I will not watch that garbage for nothing. If YouTube becomes like cable TV, I won't touch it. I won't touch it. It's already. I'm not watching that much on this stuff because it's becoming. They don't put the best stuff on here anymore. So, but I can tell you that where we're going at this silver, it's gonna go. I'm almost. This is. You could say, where the hell am I shooting from the hip on this? Not exactly. This is exactly where palladium has gone today in exponential gains. That's where silver's going. Silver should be. I think it's going to go to 135, but there's going to be a. It's going to be a tough bump through the 100 because that's a major psychological barrier. And I'll tell you what, I definitely will not guess the exact top. I know that. I know that. But it's got a lot more room to go. And I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in Trump's shoes because when it comes down to like after 2020, say I think he's going to win probably, But we're going to inherit an economy that's it's going to tank during this. Whoever's in the next administration, that's when it's going to tank. Everything is going down, all of it. Just I don't care what the numbers say today. There's too much debt. There's personal debt. There's corporate debt. There's the type of businesses that are thriving in the United States aren't essential businesses. They're retail garbage. They're social services. They're the pharmaceutical industries. They're not really the most essential services going there that we really need. And that's all part of that wonderful GDP number. It's a bunch of fluff. There's too many people. There's actually a lot of states where there's more people that are getting welfare government assistance that are employed. A lot of states like this. It's impossible that this is going to continue. There's no doubt. It's not a matter of having a negative attitude. God, it's ridiculous, I'm not looking through things out of rose-filled glasses and saying, oh, it's going to be this way, forever. No way in hell. I can't believe I can't believe it's still going. I thought this stuff was going to tank years ago. As a matter of fact, the equities normally have a normal cyclical, mini recession every 7 to 10 years. We're way past that. The last one was 7,000. It was 2008 and 9. So we're coming. We're past the freaking 10 years already. It's amazing. Maybe, and any expert will tell you they're not sure it's good. They know it's going to tank. They don't know if it's going to tank before the election or after the election. But either way, you don't want to be in a hot seat up there in the White House explaining away what happened, even though you have nothing to do with that, really. You don't have much to do with that. You might have something to do with it by making too many regulations. With silver, if I was a bullion dealer, or if I was running, some people think I'm part of this silver crowd. I am not. If I was really trying to push this, I would push silver for medical uses, silver as a disinfectant, and also silver, argentium sterling silver, which never tarnishes. That's one thing. Argentium sterling silver is beautiful jewelry that is way cheaper than white gold, platinum, or palladium. Looks nicer. It's more luster. Never tarnishes. Yet it's not being pushed on the market as much. I don't know why. And it's at a lower cost than these other metals. I don't see why people wouldn't buy it. And that would create a major demand for physical silver. But be that as it may, I'm not part of their game. I'm totally independent, and right now I'm still kind of playing around with some of this Confederate stuff. I'm probably going to put some more of that stuff on here pretty soon. But all my videos are now up on BitChute, and just remember that, this silver to the moon. Silver is actually going to, like I said, for the fourth, fifth time, it's going to have percentage gains just like palladium did. That's also going to mean that the economy, the equities, are going to be the opposite. In other words, gold and the equities usually have an inverse relationship. And I'll tell you which ones are going to sink the first and the hardest is going to be big tech. I think this thing with Twitter is just a prelude to what's going to happen. Right now, Google looks great, for on the stock market. I think they're all going to tank. I think they're all going to sink like crazy because it's like, if it just becomes a propaganda machine for freaking certain big financial interest out of New York City, nobody's going to want to watch it. And as fast as it grows, as fast as it can sink. But in the case of metals, they stand the test of time. I mean, it's been around since well before the Romans, the silver and gold, right? So it's going to continue, and it'll outlast tech by thousands of years. Over and out.